TxStampin, Sharon. We're gonna have some fun today with some Stampin' Blends, punches, and stamps. I love learning new things and teaching y'all what I learn and things, just tips and tricks along the way. I just think it helps us all. If you're new to my channel, I wanna welcome you. I invite you to hit the subscribe button below and then hit that notification bell. You'll be notified every time I upload a video or I go live on YouTube. Let's make some cards. Have you ever bought a stamp set and you think, oh, that's really cute, and then you don't use it? This was one of them. It kind of got put away with all my other stamps. And one day I saw it and I was like, oh, let's play with you, because it's been a while since I've played with my Stampin' Blends. This stamp set, these flowers match the small bloom punch that you may have gotten for free during celebration back January through March. Stampin' Up, it's unusual, but they carried it over into the annual catalog. And I don't think it was a coincidence that they designed this stamp set to go with this punch. I chose to use Playing with Patterns Designer Series papers. And this is probably one of my favorite little paper packs. As you can see, I'm getting lower because I keep playing with it. I also chose the Playing with Patterns resin dots. These are almost like a matte finish, and I just love them. I've been using quite a few of them, as you can see. I pulled out my stitched rectangle dies to help me with my layers. I have everything ready for us to play with today. So I used the stitched rectangle die to cut out, I think this is about 2.5 by 4 inches. So you could choose whichever layer you want, but I wanted to show off this beautiful ombre paper. So I chose to go a little bit smaller, about like that. And then I have my card base, which is Whisper White Thick, that I love, 5.5 by 8.5, scored and folded at 4 1/4. And then I have a scrap of the Whisper White Thick. Now this is also the Whisper White Thick because whenever you're coloring with the Stampin' Blends, it just works so much better on the thick. I don't know what it is, but I prefer it over using just the Whisper White regular. So we're going to stamp some flowers using our Memento ink. And I need 3 of them. And while I have my pad and my ink open, I'm going to go ahead and start stamping on this layer. I'm going to take the larger leaf image and I'm going to stamp one here. And then we're going to stamp another one right here. Now, don't worry about that mess in the middle. We're going to fix all that. I'm also going to take this little flower and we're just going to come up about like that. You don't have to be perfect. That's what I loved about this stamp set. You can just kind of play, and if you find that there's an area that you don't like, just stick a flower over it. All right, let's do some coloring. So our first colors are going to be Granny Apple Green, and I'm going to grab the lighter one and color my leaves. Next, I'm going to grab the darker one, and I decided to do this one a little bit darker. And then I'm going to flip it around. I'm going to use the barrel end, and I'm just going to give some more color to my leaves. Next, I'm going to take the Real Red and the dark Daffodil Delight, and I'm just going to color the center of this flower with the dark Daffodil Delight. And then I'm going to use the lighter of the Real Red to color my flower. I love the Stampin' Blends. I do use my markers, but I'm telling you, these are my first go-to. They come in so many colors, and then sometimes when I don't have the color that I need, I do have to use my markers, which work fine for certain situations. But I love being able to give a little bit darker highlight to my images. I'm just following. Okay, guys, y'all tell me not to edit out my giggle, so I didn't that time. But I'm just following the artist's lines, their design of the flower. I'm telling you, sometimes my brain must just get to thinking too fast. I don't know, it's crazy. Okay, so now I'm going to color these, and I'm just using the Real Red. I found when I used, I'll just show you, I couldn't really see the yellow very much. I mean, can y'all see that? It's so tiny. So I opted not to color that, and I'll show you what we're going to do instead. I liked what I came up with better anyway. I know that I sped that up for y'all for a bit, but just sitting here coloring to me is just so relaxing. I don't know if that's how y'all feel, but I just love to just color. I had some friends years ago. Well, it was actually my boss at the time. I worked for them as an admin in their home, and I always saw her coloring with coloring books, and I would tease her. And I would say, I'm going to the grocery store. Do you want me to pick you up some more colors? Do you need anything? You know, and so one day she told me, she goes, I know you laugh at me. Now, this was before I was a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I didn't know any better. She told me that when you have to decide what colors to use, you have to use your brain. You have to make more cells. When you're just reading a book or watching TV, you are learning what the artist or the TV people want you to learn. You're not using your brain. I was like, really? So she said, I'm just trying to stay young. And the older I get, the more I appreciate that comment. Okay, we're going to stamp our flower pot also on our Whisper White Thick. Whoops, we still need our ink pad. And then it took me a while to figure out what this was for, but it is to, oh, I bet I can't line it up because I can't get my head in there. We'll see how I did. It is to just have a little bit of raffia, maybe a little string around our pot. Do y'all ever do that? You get a bunch of stamps in and you go, what's this for? I just stamp them, and then sometimes when I stamp it, it makes more sense. Okay, so we're going to move all these out of the way. We're going to grab our Cajun Craze, and I'm going to use the lighter. I really thought this looked like terracotta tile, and so that's why I grabbed it. And then I was like, I don't have a Stampin' Blends in terracotta tile, but it still looks like terracotta to me. Look how smooth that is. There are no stroke lines from the marker. You will find that it bleeds through on the back if you've never used Stampin' Blends. Now I'm going to take the darker, and again, I'm going to follow the artist outline of the stamp. Do a few little things over here. Then I'm going to grab my lighter again, and I'm just going to kind of push that up towards the center and bringing it in. Super fun. I just love doing this. It's almost like magic, don't you think? I don't know if you can tell on the video, but I will hold it up in just a moment so that you can see the lighter and the darker. Just a little shading, little flower pot. Okay, so now we need our snips, and we're just gonna come in. This is nice, clean little lines. We can just snip around this pot. I was gonna tell you something. If you don't know about this one, this is the magic pen. Sometimes if you colored outside the lines, which I kind of did right there, but I'm getting ready to cut it off. That's what made me remember. You can use the lifter and just kind of push that towards your pot, and it will, it's like an eraser. It's so fun. I was like, can we have that for our ink pads? You know how sometimes we get smudges on something? You know what? Oh, I guess I was gonna say, I've never tried to use that, but it wouldn't work because our ink pads are water-based and the blends are alcohol-based. But hey, it was a quick fleeting thought that I thought, oh, maybe we could do that. Okay. So we've done all these fun things. Now let's put our card together. We're going to add some adhesive. I'm having a better relationship with my Seal Plus than what I did in the beginning. Whew, telling you, it gave me trouble. But the tip of starting it on the silicone mat, plus my tip that I learned, we're going to add this one here too. If it stops working, then go to a place where you have adhesive and touch it there, and it will start up again. Just have to know how to do it. All these tricks that y'all shared with me, and I want to share them right back at ya. Okay, so now we're going to place this here. We are going to stamp one leaf, and we're going to do some fussy cutting with that as well. Get our grainy apple green again, do some coloring. I prefer to color it this way before I trim it. That way I'm not trying to hang on to a tiny little leaf. Do y'all love these blends? Is it just me? Do y'all love them? I do, I swear. They're just so fun. Okay, and now we're going to snip this out. So we're going to pull in our silicone mat. I didn't mean to flip that over. And we're going to add a little bit of adhesive on our leaf. And then we're going to stick it on our flower like that. And then we need our dimensionals. Now, before I take the backings off of the pot, I want you to decide, where do I want it? Where do I want my flowers? So you see what I mean? How you can push these flowers all around to hide any boo-boos or something that you're not happy with and all that. So we're going to add our pot first. No, we're not going to add it first. We're going to stamp our thank you. Oh my gosh. See, I get so engrossed in it. So when you look at Basket of Blooms, there's no sentiment. So you are free to use whatever you want. And I decided that I needed just a small thank you at the bottom of my flower pot and everything. But these are great sizes for you to use, especially if you're doing layers like this. So I have my thank you. I send out so many thank you cards. I'm always needing them. If you currently do not have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would be honored to help you with your Stampin' Up! Supply needs. You can find my store, find out how to contact me, all that good stuff below the video. If you need help placing your orders. But if your order is $50 or more, I send a gift with that thank you card. Everyone gets a thank you card, no matter the size of the order. And if you, like I said, if it's over $50 or for every $50 increment, I do send gifts. Everybody likes the surprises. And we want our little leaf to come down over our pot. Look how cute is that. We're not done. Remember our little resin dots? And I have some more cards to share with you that I made. I like to give you different samples. So we're going to just add these little dots to the center, because remember how I told you you can't really see? Here, let's put it up to the camera. So this one I colored. You can't really see it, right? But now you can see the center. Now we're done with that card. Super cute. How about this one? Same thing with the dots. I stamped my pot I actually adhered it down. I did not put any dimensionals, and I stamped 2 sets of those leaves. Instead of side by side, I did them like this. And then I pulled in some of the other leaves and images from the stamp set. And on this one, I chose to color the center with my basic black Stampin' Blends, because again, I couldn't see, it was such a small thing, I couldn't see my coloring. And then I had to play with the basket. And I'm not gonna lie, when I looked at the stamp, hold on, let me get it. I was like, what is that? Oh, it's the handle. Some things my brain just doesn't see. Anyway, had a lot of fun. I did fussy cut out the little flower, and then again added my my little resin dots in there. This one I used 2 sets of the stitched rectangle dies, and then I used the Parisian Flourish embossing folder. So I hope I've inspired you. If you have not played with this stamp set yet, or if it wasn't even on your radar, I hope that you will give it another thought, because it was fun to play and create and make some thank you cards. So you might very well get one of these cards in the mail with you when you place an order. Happy stamping, y'all.